F. Where am I? There I am. Copy link. There we go. Really should make thumbnails. But oh well. Looks like we are getting a noise here. Just give me a sec. Fair enough. Decent, sounds good. Well, hey there everyone, and welcome back to OBF1, and back again for a Friday. I've got Mitch alongside once again, but we're here for round 7, and we're heading to Azerbaijan, an infamous street circuit when it comes to the Formula 1 calendar. We've had very, very memorable moments here. Remember back in 2017, I believe, when Daniel Ricciardo took the win ahead of Sergio Perez as well. Azerbaijan always providing a challenge. It's tight, twisty, but it's also so very fast and flowing. You've got the final sector, a downhill braking zone into some flat out corners in these Formula 1 cars. Turn 1, 2 and 3 are all 90 degree corners, and actually all the way down towards turn 4, so it's very, very tight and twisty, so you have to have a very balanced setup. But yeah, once again, joined alongside me is Mitch, and yeah, what are we looking forward to today? Could be pretty intense. Of course, you've got the longest straight on the Formula 1 calendar here at Azerbaijan, 2 kilometers long, and it's actually, I also think it's pretty much completely flat out from turn 16 all the way down towards turn 1. I don't think there's anywhere you necessarily have to lift. No, you don't actually, because 17, 18, 19 and 20 are all flat, so it is pretty much flat out for most of that final sector. So it's a very, very fast track, and you have to. Do you compromise every corner here just to not be a sitting duck on that straight? Do you run a Monza-esque setup? Exactly that. I mean, it is a very big compromise. You have to get the balance right. That is a Red Bull extremely wide, just completely disregarding the pit limit line, and now settling them behind their teammates. Red Bull actually looked very good around Azerbaijan. Of course, in 2018 we had that infamous moment between Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. So hopefully Foski and Assassin both keep themselves behaved and won't be giving Christian Horner any headaches tonight. Foski, of course, is a proven race winner in Formula 2. We saw in Spain he was actually very, very quick. So hopefully he can transfer that towards Formula 1. We got, again, as you said, we got a three-way fight between Jim, Harv, and I believe Max as well. You also said at the front, Max has been pretty dominant when it comes to raw pace, but everyone else has really been up there. So it's an interesting battle, and seeing as though Kimi hasn't had the best of luck, he's decided to leave. So it's one less for people to worry about, and there's going to be a lot of pressure off this guy's shoulder, but it's still going to be so intense, and every little tiny point matters, especially in such a competitive grid. Exactly that. I mean, it was an incredible incredible race for Jim last week. Could not have gone better for the man who was taking his debut. Of course, he looked quick in Formula 2 at Spain, transferred it straight over to Formula 1, took pole, and then went on to take the victory at Catalonia. So he definitely did not wait around in settling his feet. He just jumped straight into the deep end and swam and thrived. So he did very good. Who we got on a lap at the moment? We've got Kieran Rees actually setting up a nice lap. He's currently on the medium tyre. What is your take on that? Is it a medium to hard? Is it a soft to hard? What would you say the strategy was? That is very true and very much, yeah, one of the variables you say. Kieran Rees really struggling out there, went wide at turn 1 and now gone wide at turn 3, so really struggling to find his grips, and he's got some wing damage to the front wing that apparent, so hopefully he's going to find himself, going to find his feet a little bit better. But yeah, as you say, maybe these guys just going for a couple of bank laps on the mediums, because track position around here is going to be very crucial. You don't want to risk it. 38.9 from Harv initially for his first lap. A very good first lap, it must be said. Personally, I'm only sort of around what Bolt Boys just set at 39.5, so he's definitely set a very good. And the other AlphaTauri of Ghost settling just behind. Well, I say just behind, he's more about 2 and a bit seconds behind. But there's Paul Harrison settling in, so a couple of people around the low 41 mark, and Fosi settling in with 39.6. So just people finding their feet, trying to get acclimatized to a circuit. Of course, Azerbaijan is a very, very tight circuit, so you do need to be very, very careful as to where you place your car. Well, we're just going to have to see what he can do. Of course, as I said earlier, Red Bulls are very good overtaken around Azerbaijan, so we'll have to see. We've got the championship leader of Max currently qualifying Merchant. He's taken a lot of pole positions this season, or actually always been up there. Definitely it's been usually him and Kimi battling for pole, but with the addition of Jim and Harv recently, it's been a little bit tougher for him. We'll have to see what he can do though. On a run down towards turn 1, a very short run towards turn 1 once you cross the line, but from turn 16 it is very much hard, and that was actually him setting up his lap, and that was a 40.3. Did something go wrong for Max? I mean, what is that now? 1.4 seconds off the front runner, so maybe just finding his feet, but yeah, that's definitely not something we often see Max do. Might definitely be a possibility. Just needs to get himself acclimatized. He's definitely really good when it comes to adapting any new weather condition or a situation. Max has really been one to rise to the occasion, so hopefully he just needs to find his way, find where the traction zones are, optimize his braking points. It's not necessarily learning the circuit. I'm sure he's done many laps around Azerbaijan, but it's more a case of just optimizing the lap, trying to find every little tiny bit of time that you can, and getting very close to the wall in Castle. But yeah, as you say, probably just finding his feet, and then going to go for a couple of quick runs towards the end. Who have we got settling in? We've got then on the medium tyre, so again just trying to get a feel for it. This is going to be his first flyer, and it needs to get the track a little bit more rubbed in. So coming towards turn 1, want to be all the way to the right hand side. You can see using all of this curve, braking around the 100 board, down to third gear, runs a little bit wide, uses the curb on the exit, but it shouldn't be too much time lost. Again at turn 2, looking for where the barrier kinks inwards, and then DRS wide open. The drag reduction system propelling him down this back straight towards turn 3, all the way to the right hand side, just trying to minimise the distance around the circuit, looking for the 100 board, braking just at it, second gear, clip a nice late apex, and then roll it out to the edge of the circuit, bring it to the left hand side, down to second gear, get close, but don't touch that inside curb, as it really does unsettle the car, and then back to the right hand side for this quick I believe turn 5 and 6 chicane, and he's purple actually to the first sector according to the timing screen. So Jim not waiting around at all again, his second race on a Friday, and he's already going purple to the first sector on the mediums, and now coming towards the infamous castle section that has claimed many alive, most famously recently Charles Leclerc in 2019, the famous I Am Stupid line, but he manages to negotiate it really well, does the Renault, and Jim on a very, very nice lap on these mediums, heading towards the very, very fast braking zone of what I believe to be turn 15. You want to really, really slam on the brakes. It is a very, very scary corner, especially when the wall is so over close, and if you get that curb wrong, you are going to be sent over it. Purple again to the middle sector, so Jim really on a good lap here on these mediums, coming through turn 17, flat through 18, just need to minimise the steering input. Any extra is just going to slow you down. Pretty much nailed that lap from Jim. Now just wants to have a short run to the circuit, going to pick up a little bit of a toe from Pistol, but opts to be safe and move to the left hand side of him. Short run to the line, what is it going to be? It's actually 39.7, so maybe one that's hooked up as we perhaps thought, but he's less than a second off pole on the medium tyres, so it's a pretty good memorable lap. Well, that's what you've got to do in a field so compact and tight together. You can see separated by almost nothing at Jim, Foskey and Co. And Max now heading up on his other lap. He's just going to want to improve on his time, maybe on a little bit of a lesser field run, so he has that light and more nimble car beneath him, and hopefully he can try and improve, because Max in the P7 is something you don't often see every day, and Harv as well looking to go out for an out lap, and he's going to have Max right behind him. So Max maybe just wants Harv in front of him, have someone to push. You always find that instinct when you're following someone to go that little bit quicker, and having someone who's so close and a potential rival in the championship, definitely going to try and push him to go a little bit quicker. Exactly that, and to allude more on that, if you're completely at the mercy of the guy in front, if they make a mistake or go a little bit slowly, you're really at risk of losing out, because that Mr. GFX has actually been given a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Bold Boy. Manny currently sits P3. Interesting to see what may have happened there. Maybe we'll see it in the stewards' inquiries post-race. Yeah, very, very interesting to see that. Mr. GFX in P13 and Bold Boy in P3, so maybe just a kerfuffle when it comes to who's on the fast lap and who's not. But yeah, very unfortunate for GFX, who's at the moment going to be sat in P18 unless he can prepare himself up. That's a big mistake from Max. Yeah, that was a very big tank stopper coming off of turn 3 into 4 there. Just, yeah, couldn't get it hooked up, but he's still 8 tenths up to the first sector. It's a place Max is no stranger to. Firstly, interestingly, has moved himself up into P2 and less than a tenth off Harv, so it is looking like we've got a very, very mixed up grid coming our way tonight. And purple again to the middle sector from Max, who puts in a 1.2 second faster lap so far. He's still got sector 3, a little bit more difficult to find him more time through here, but it's still possible if you just minimise the steering. You can see hardly turning his wheel through there, just trying to rotate the car with as little input as possible. And you can see shorts run to the line. Harv goes with a new provisional pole at 38.1. What is Max going to do? It's at 39.0, so still over a second, well, nearly a second off pole. So maybe without that tank sack, he could have been a little bit closer. But Foskey also looking pretty good, but Harv at the moment complete pass the field. And is that Jim on softs? we'll have to see what he can do. Of course, about 1.6 seconds off on the mediums and his first bank climb, and as we know, the track does get quicker over time. More cars going around at 200 miles an hour lays down that grippy rubber on the circuit, which really helps soak up a lap, and that is why you often see drivers maybe in the esports go out on intermediates originally to lay down some rubber. That's something you often see in the higher tiers of F1. Not so much down here in OBF1, but maybe that's a tactic we may see. Jim then coming towards turn 1, hooks it up a little bit. It was a bit twitchy because he had to turn out of the steering there a little bit, and a bit of a mistake. He's got his teammate of CDM right in front of him, so maybe he's going to pick up a little bit of a toe. Going to move over. CDM going to be very nice. That's going to help Jim a tremendous lot. Going to slingshot him down towards turn 3, and then he's going to brake and really try and aim for this inside. You really have to hook everything up. You can't leave anything on the table here at Azerbaijan. It's almost better to push than it is to be careful, because if you turn them that little bit too early, turn that little bit too late, you are just going to get swallowed up. So you need to be on rails around here, and that is a pretty good first sector. 7/10 up on his original time to the first sector, and apparently purple, but whether that's accurate or not, Codemasters will find out. But so far, a pretty good first sector. Nice. Yeah, that is actually very true. Still a pretty hooked up lap time. 4 tenths clear. He's almost sort of in no man's land there. He's got 4 tenths to go in front of him. 4 tenths to the driver behind him. Almost exactly 4 tenths. 4:02 to be precise. My maths are correct. Hopefully they are. And school is doing me well, but yeah, I mean he's just chilling at the moment. Jim, that was a pretty good lap time. Of course, Harv setting a very hard to reach benchmark, and it seems like he is very competent. And as I just have to see what he can do. 26 laps, I do believe we will have around the street circuit, so that could also be interesting. With Max on an outlap as well, he's got his teammate in front of him, gonna maybe pick up a toe if he wants to. Is he going to take that risk? We'll have to see. But yeah, currently it's P4, so Max still up there and all to play for in the race. We've seen Max is a master when it comes to consistency, just getting his head down and doing his thing. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do. Yeah, so far three of the Titans up in the top 4 at the moment. So yeah, it's definitely still got the potential for a good race. Will be a big spanner in the championship. Of course, Jim trying to chase down Max. Max just trying to hold on, and yeah, as you say, Harv incredibly quick on when it comes to 1 lap pace, but just slightly fall short. We can see Max doing a very extreme tyre warming stuff there. Very nice to warm his tyres up as he goes through turn 16. But yeah, Harv, as you say, he just needs to hook it up, and he seems to be confident. The best thing you can do to give yourself that confidence for the race is to stick it on pole, but then again, don't want to be overconfident and get complacent. Still a long way to go, and needs to keep it consistent. But 1 minute left to quali, then this is where we're going to see the final couple of laps being set. There's a car right behind Max, and may pick up a little bit of a slipstream down towards turn 1, but Max needs to improve upon this lap then. Currently sits on a 39.0, goes in very deep in turn 1, completely misses that apex there. Doesn't even know what an apex was as he comes towards turn 2. Hits that one very much a lot nicer, but he does need to improve upon this. He does not want to be behind folks. He doesn't want to be on the second row. He definitely needs to be up there with Harv and Jim and giving them a straight fight towards turn 1, because it's just going to be what he needs to do. course. Still definitely a good lap. We've got the three main protagonists, you would say, rounding off the top three, and Boski, I guess he's going to be pretty happy with P4, rounds off the second row of the grid of it. Yeah, as you say, short runs towards turn one, so you do need to get off to the lights quickly. You need to get that good start because it's more crucial than here than everywhere. You don't pick up that slipstream. Quite ironically at Azerbaijan, you don't have that slipstream down towards turn one like you do at Spain or Sochi. So yeah, it's crucial. You need to get off the line well, and it is very much the difference. And as is the difficulty of overtaking at street circuits, could win you the race. They say you can't win a race on lap one, but it certainly does help getting those crucial moves done. Could be pretty interesting. Also the three main protagonists at the front. So this is pretty tipped to be a good race. We've got some very, very close pace. We've got P3 man in the championship, I believe you said, or P2. Kieran Rees down in P9, so he's going to be wanting to make up some positions in the race. McLaren do usually look pretty strong when it comes to Fridays. They're always up there and really, really consistent in the race if their one lap does lack a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty decent grid, it seems. They're just waiting for Kieran Rees to get into the pit lane and the session to end. But it's all kicking off for the AI drivers. They don't really seem to know what to do. But yeah, it's tipped to be a pretty good race. And Jim asking in the Discord chat if Harv had slipstream, because 4/10 is a huge margin. Is Harv just that much quicker? Well, just needs to get a good start first. Of course, have taken pole 4/10 clear of the man that will be joining him on the second row, Jim, and championship leader Max, putting in a good enough job to stay in P3. Short Marcus P4 for Mercedes and Foski P5, and Paul Harrison in P6. Mr. GFX in P7, Bob P8, Kieran P9, Cider Space rounding off the top 10. Lou in P11, CDM P12. Sets lap on the mediums, interestingly, couldn't quite get himself into the top 10. Callum Jones in P13, Brake Gorilla in P14, Ratho P15, Ghost P16, Golden Wolf P17, Pistol in P18. Won't have many people behind it to defend from, but Chris right behind him, P19. And then the retiree rounding off the grid, I believe, of Assassin in P20. So tipped to be a pretty good race. We've got everyone that is usually at the front, so it's going to be a straight up, pretty quick fight down towards turn one. It's going to be pretty much elbows out, I would say. I believe we have lost Mitch. He's got his mic muted on the chat, so I will keep it rolling. Just while we wait for people to load in, it is looking pretty overcast over the skies of Azerbaijan. So could we see some rain? It could be a little bit interesting. Looks like Mitch has come back. I was looking at Chris's name in the time and chat there. A bit similar to how I call P Dave. Haven't actually done that for a while yet, so we might need to slip that in later on. But yeah, it's looking pretty overcast. Little Swanee special, exactly that. So we're going to go green for the formation lap. As I said, Harv's going to lead the way. Pretty dominant quali pace, and he's inside the head of Jim, it seems, playing the mental game already. Jim's scared that he might have had slipstream and just wants a bit of clarity, a bit of peace of mind that maybe he's not as far off as he'd hoped. But he's still on the front row and just needs a good start, get himself off. 26 laps, yeah, I was right. So it is a long race. You do need to keep it consistent. Lou on the hards, Callum Jones on the hard. Most of the people outside the top 10 either on the mediums or the hards. Only, I believe, 2 gone for the soft compound tyre. Yeah, exactly that. Don't want no wet safety cars coming in. I don't believe we've had a wet Azerbaijan Grand Prix in real life. Of course, Baku has only been on the calendar, I believe, since 2016, correct me if I'm wrong, or around that time, so it's actually not been on the calendar for too long, so I've not had the opportunity to have a wet race, but it is very chaotic on the Codemasters games when it does get wet, because every little mistake is just completely exaggerated upwards on a mass scale. Predicted pit stop strategy then, soft to hard, pitting around the lap 7 to 8 mark, or 2-stop soft, medium soft, so it doesn't look tyre wear is as effective here at Baku. I mean, you're going so slow anyway, so there's not as much lateral G's going forward through the tyres, so you should be okay, but the amount of directional changes, especially through the final sector, definitely still puts a lot of strain on half. Yeah, you can see now trying to back everyone up, but Jim wants to keep his distance, warm his tyres up, and give Harv as much of a disadvantage as he can as they round towards the towards the line. Very much already racing, and we're not even on the not even down towards turn 1 yet. Wishful thinking, you might want to ask for something more realistic, something like a dragon, I would say, but it's a big ask, but hopefully they can keep it clean. Short run, so they're really going to be bunched up, no time for them to really spread out, but they're lining themselves up onto the grid. We've got the pole sitter of Harv completely dominated qualifying Jim, and the championship leader right behind, looking to take him down towards turn 1. Needs to give him the fight, because if his quali pace is anything representative of his race pace over the next 26 laps, they're going to want to do it. Waiting for the green flag to be shown. Short Marcus as well, a bit of a wild card up there in P4, could give him a bit of a headache if his pace is looking pretty good, but here we go, green flag being waved. We're going to wait for the 5 red lights to illuminate the screen ahead of 26 laps of Azerbaijan. Still just waiting for the lights to come on. The drivers are sat eagerly waiting. Here we go then to 5 red lights ahead of round 7 here in Azerbaijan. A very short run, and we're underway in racing. It's a pretty good start from Jim, who gets alongside towards turn 1. That's a very, very good start from Jim. Going to try and dominate towards turn 1. They're going to run them out side by side. Go the 2 race leaders. They're still going to run side by side. Jim just slightly ahead. He's got Harv on his outside though as they Constantina towards turn 2. There's a bit of a confuffle at the back. Has Harv managed to hold on to the lead of the race? Yes, he has, but Jim going to slither in behind him. He's got Max all over the back of him, so they're going to go bumper to bumper to bumper. The 3 main championship protagonists trying to weave their way through. Jim to the inside, sends it up the inside of the Racing Point, still looking on the outside. Max trying to find his way through. Is he going to follow the Racing Point on the inside? Jim trying to set up a cutback and get himself side by side. Is that Max now looking for the inside of Jim? No, so Jim putting up a very, very good effort to try and take half. He knows he needed to do that, and Folksy up into P4 as well, so a very, very good start between these guys. Jim trying to get ahead, but Harv just about hanging on, and a bit of a confuffle, I believe, towards the back of the grid as well. It definitely could turn to a one-horse race, but Jim just needs to know his priorities. He needs to stay with the slipstream. He's definitely got this long back straight to help. Needs to make sure he maximises his ERS. There goes Short Marcus getting past Fosky once again. Fosky got past on lap 1. He's also got the Ferrari side of space. As is the case with the slipstream, you definitely get a lot of DRS trains. Here comes the Ferrari, actually looking to the inside of the Red Bull, down towards turn 1, going to send it under brakes and nearly get up the inside of Short Marcus. I believe there was a bit of contact, so Red Bull going to go for a cutback. He's going to get the position back, does not want to get swamped down the inside. Very nicely done. Is he going to keep it? Yes, he is. The Ferrari thinks to not fight that one too difficult, but back at the front, Jim staying with Harv nicely. He's got one more lap until the drag reduction system opens, and he just needs to stay within the 1 second. Harv going to try and push, but probably isn't worth his ERS expending it if he knows he's not going to get out, because he needs it to defend. Luckily, no mistakes as of yet. Still a long way to go, though. And as you say, Max, a very aggressive driver, needs to get his way through. He wants to control the pace. He doesn't like being behind. He likes being in front and controlling. Even in situations where you maybe prefer to be behind, he prefers to be in front and just control the pace. But Jim very close to the back of Harv and may not even need the ERS to get his way through. Maybe going to expend some ERS down towards turn 1. Harv gets an incredible exit off turn 16, then towards turn 17, 18, 19, and then a little bit of a kink on to 20. Is he going to expend some ERS, or is he just going to sit behind it? I'm sure Jim's going to want to take every little opportunity he can get. Max as well, closing behind. He's using a lot of ERS, really expending it. You can see weaving around like snakes, breaking the toe. This could be very spicy towards turn 1. Jim under pressure. Max looking to the outside. This is exactly what Harv wants. They want to start them battling around the outside. Goes Max. Has he got Jim on his inside? Yes, he has. Max leaves him to dry around the outside. What a move from the Haas, and is now moving himself up to P2. He'll have the aid of DRS as well. Is this now Max hitting engage? He's got the DRS. Has he got the momentum to go get Harv? He may have expended a bit too much ERS. Here comes Jim looking for the counter attack. He's got the DRS. Max defend. Jim looking to the outside. Is he going to be late enough under brakes? Very close to the back of Max, who has a bit of a lock up. So close. Jim looking to send it to the inside. Goes to the right. Max giving him a bit of a swerve to move and deter him there. Bit dodgy from Max looking to defend his position, but very much so. Max does not want to give his way this P2 very easily. Jim just wants to try and find his way through, but all well and good, no damage as of yet. But Max doing what he needs to do, but Harv has actually made the most of this. He's capitalised most of this. He knows what he needs to do. He looked behind, rubbing his hands. Well, not literally, he needs to keep both on the steering wheel, but metaphorically rubbing his hands and now pulled away out of the DRS zone. So has that cost Max and Jim the chance to leave the race? Yeah, we always say this almost like a tow hook. You latch onto the back of the car in front, and Max needs that if he wants any chance, because he's now burnt through all of his energy recovery system. The battery that helps with him down the straight, he's almost got virtually no charge. Of course, when he brakes, he can charge it a little bit, can charge it up. That's the point of the braking systems, but he just needs to latch on and have now trying to stretch his legs. I mean, he's got the control, he's got the most DRS of the top 3. He's firmly established control and so far dominate the top 3, just playing the mental game, keeping them behind. He's stretching his legs and now starting to use that ERS to keep him behind, and Jim will have a lot more ERS than Max, so Max really hasn't put himself in a great position here. Max is trying to push to stay with him. Anything else happening further back? We've got CDM on the back of Cyberspace, a close midfield fight between these two. CDM on at the medium tyres, and he's got an AlphaTauri right behind him as well, so a very similar three-way fight going on here. A nice little DRS train. Common thought. Yeah, exactly that. CDM looking to pounce on any opportunity they can. These clouds don't look like they're shifting as well. Could CDM be in a very good position maybe to stretch these tyres to some rain? He knows something we don't. Of course, we will find out eventually, but CDM is going to be very close and looking to make the move. He's already activating his ERS, which is not something you typically want to do through very fast corners. One bit of wheel spin and you find yourself getting set around. His side are going to come into the pits. Is he going to hang it out? Nonetheless, it does look like CDM's got the DRS. He's got the slipstream, pulls to the right hand side, and that is Cyberspace getting into the pit lane to repair some damage. So would you recommend maybe some cars when they go to the end? definitely Baku claiming another victory, and it is a very common theme. Still at the front, Max hanging on just about that 1 second, but it's just not enough. He's creeping in and out of it, and Harv doing exactly what he needs to, still with 65% ERS, just holding it and keeping it chill. There's yellow flash, sector 3, that looks like an AlphaTauri of Ghost going slowly towards the pit lane, or something's happening there, so unfortunately the AlphaTauri couldn't do it. Yeah, he's into the pit lane already, and picking up another wing damage, probably going to run out of wings and tyres. The AlphaTauri pit crew, but yeah, Jim still firmly behind Max, and that is a VSC. What has happened there? Maybe just some debris on the track or whatever, but they are going to have to slow down. Full course yellow, pretty much just pressing pause on the race. Three. No, exactly that, not playing any risk. They're basically just following each other, but very interesting. They came in as it was ending, but these are now crucial times. All onto the hard tyres, should be to the end, but as looks like a good pit stop from Renault, guys. If Max gets hold up, he may... No, they're not going to get jumped. No spicy stuff in the pit stops for that, but yeah, they're just going to need to get these tyres turned on as quickly as they can and negotiate their way through the traffic. It looks as though Harv has actually come out in clear air. He's now clear of Lou, so yeah, that's ideally exactly what Harv wanted. Well, at the moment, I mean, it's 5/10 to Lou and then 1.5 to Harv, so he's already lost about a second compared to when he come into the pit, so maybe all following each other in wasn't the best way. Max was also getting very, very close to the wall through Castle there, and we see a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds there, so hopefully that threat of rain is going, and Jim looking very feisty, really all over the back of Max. Is it in his best interest to start fighting? We know Max does not give up the pace easily, so could just be costing him more time. He's probably going to wait for Max to send it. Lou very close to the wall there, and this is going to allow Jim to look to the right hand side and go around the outside. Max really going to squeeze him though, not give him an inch on that exit. Knows how crucial it is to keep Jim behind, but Jim will have a look down towards turn 1. Could be very, very close. The Renault, the Haas and the Ferrari. Lou does not want to get himself involved in this. Probably best if he just lets them go, and he's on the hards. He's looking for the long game, and there he goes. There's Max looking to the inside. Still going to wait for Jim to get the DRS and then stay in the slipstream as long as he can. Pulls to the inside and looks for the inside of Max. Are they going to run 3 abreast? They might do. This is crucial for Jim. He's going to look to the right hand side. Max moves over just a little bit too late, and there was a bit of contact, but nothing too much, too major. Max again defending to the inside, moving it back to the right hand side, but yeah, Jim getting a bit frustrated, it seems, behind Max. Very nice bit of racing between the two. Jim not having any of it again. Max moving over, really squeezing him all the way. Jim just going even deeper, then sending it under the brakes and claiming the corner down towards turn 3. But yeah, as you say, Max making that car as wide as he possibly can, using every bit of track, every bit of car he can to defend his position. Did do a good job of it, but Jim just about coming on top, and he's now going to try and stretch his legs and go after Harv, who's now pulled out 3.5 seconds. This is completely and utterly ideal for Harv, but Jim now going to be just needs a pair of binoculars to see the man he was having a run at down towards turn 1 on lap 1, and now 6 laps later, 3.5 seconds back. Exactly that. I mean, all I can see really is when half catches up to CDM, that may be a saving grace for Jim behind. I mean, as you say, he's closed the gap and he is really pushing to try and catch up, using a lot of tyre here that needs to get to the end of the race, but he probably just wants to catch up to Harv and have that hope. He's dropped Max a little bit. He's just staying around the 1 second mark, but is this now Jim showing his true pace? He was bottled up behind Max when Max overtook him, and he did give Harv a good run until Max got him, but yeah, Harv needs to chase after CDM, whose medium tyres should still be pretty fresh, only 7 laps old, so may still have a bit of pace compared to these hard compound tyres, but yeah, Harv and Jim probably, I'm going to say, are two favourites, but Max is still behind, and not giving him an easy time at all. It's not as though Jim's dropped him, and Max going to be wanting to stay with Jim if he does catch up, and probably Jim's just going to be hoping that Harv catches CDM at the wrong time. He's not going to have DRS down towards turn 1, so he's going to catch him in the midfield section. Exactly that. I mean, probably their detriment was coming in on the same lap as Harv. They had the gap and just filed into the wrong place on the traffic, and yeah, Jim still under pressure from Max, who's going to be looming behind. Anything else happening? The closest battle is between Lou and Short Marcus, both on differently aged tyres. Is the Ferrari going to go for it towards turn 3? Doesn't quite look like it. Don't know where this is. Net on track, bit of contact as he sends the Mercedes a little bit deep in towards turn 3, but no damage done to that Ferrari and no damage done to the Mercedes, so still giving it everything they can. Of course, last time the Ferrari and the Mercedes come together on this track was 2017, and we all know how that panned out under the safety car between Seb and Lewis, but yeah, Max still with him, picks himself up a 3-second penalty, though the stupid cut there before Castle, very, very easy to do, just getting a bit too ambitious on the curb there, but Jim, 2 seconds now, nearly sub 2 seconds, it is sub 2 seconds, so really pushing, trying to get the most out of these tyres. Exactly that. I mean, he just needs to get his head down. 1.7 seconds, he is pushing, and as you say, yeah, he's actually now negative fuel, so he's using a lot of his rich mix. Of course, the higher engine mode giving him a little bit more straight line speed, a little more efficient revs, and towards turn 1, running out, you can see using pretty much all the track as you would in qualifying, so really driving that car on rails and pushing every little bit of it, but it will cost him towards the end, especially little tiny slides like that, and using the ERS on the exits, things like that do attribute to it. Of course, 1,000 brake force around these cars, and that's all going to the rear wheels, which does not help under traction zone, so any wheel spin does really degrade the tyres, but Harv, if he makes any mistake, I'm sure Jim is going to want to pounce on that, and he can now see him, he's really close, and will now maybe start feeling a tight, little bit of a slipstream maybe, so slowly chipping away. It just needs to get himself established into the DRS, and he should be firmly okay. Golden Wolf, he's had a bit of a spin, I believe, at turn 3, now going to join his way back onto the track, hopefully not coming to any way of anyone else, similar to where Daniel Ricciardo and Danny Kvyat had there a little bit of an incident, but yeah, Jim slowly chipping away, and as you say, Max really just following Jim doing all the work for Max, he's just chilling behind. He hasn't really saved much DRS though, 10%, he's got the DRS, just doesn't want to. It says full course yellow on my screen, it's not a full course yellow, yellow flags just set to 2 and 3, it looks like it's just a slow car, but Jim, yeah, 1.6 seconds, just needs to slowly chip away at that, any mistake from Harv, but yeah, as you say, Harv looking to just look at the bigger picture at the moment. Ball boy in the back of Lou looking to the right hand side towards turn 1, almost off the track, given pretty much no room there from Lou, but he just doesn't quite make it work for himself because Lou just controls the corner, uses everything he needs to, and Ball boy trying to look cool on the outside, didn't quite work for him, but he will have the run down towards turn 3, going to look to the inside, get it done early, sail past with ERS and then DRS, and that should be him out into the top 5. Very nicely done the throw, still on the outside though, going to brake really late, use all the track, keep it on the right hand side, and then on the run down towards turn 4, should be on the inside, is the AlphaTauri going to go around the outside, keep him pinched on the curb. Nice done, the Red Bull trying to dart to the inside to get past Lou there, but just a little bit swamped and couldn't quite make the most of the poor exit. But now it's actually going back to doom. We had a bit of an outbreak of sunshine. Now it's going back to more miserable settings. But yeah, Harv seems to be struggling. 1.2 seconds now is the gap. Jim really using a lot this time. Yeah, exactly that. I mean, was it interest to get it? I mean, he was behind. It's exactly what cost him in the first. The pace with Max overtaking him. That's how Harv got away originally. They've done all this hard work to catch up. Could now may have cost him. They do amongst themselves though, so we're going to be hoping 1.1 seconds between Max and Harv. Just needs to slowly chip away. Neither of them have much ERS though. Jim used it all trying to defend from Max, and Max used it all trying to get past Jim, and Harv in still a very good position. But Max creeping into the DRS zone, and that is now what he needs, so he just needs to establish himself and slowly chip away, and again cut that inside there. That's probably the only place I can think where you can pick yourself up a bit of a penalty. Is there anything happening in the midfield? It looks as though there is. Folksky, Lou and Paul Harrison in a bit of a train. The Williams on some nice fresh hard tyres looking to close up off the back rim. Not much he can really do. Lou goes in a bit deep, could give the Williams the run, but yeah, into Castle was never really gonna work. But yeah, Max now into the DRS zone, crept out of it though, had a bit of a run in with the wall, and that may have cost him just about there. He saved a nice bit of ERS there in the middle sector, up to 30%. Just needs to use it all, try and creep into the DRS zone. It is quite a way up the straight, so he's got a while to use it, but Jim really looking to get past Max as well. He needs to be leading, but he has got the DRS, he's crept inside, and the point now he will have DRS, so this is a very, very important milestone for Max and Jim in their pursuit to chase after Harv as we approach the halfway mark. Well, what is that going to be? 14 laps on the mediums if you include 13. So definitely going to be a big, big struggle for him, and should be done. I would say maybe possible. Max getting a bit shaky towards Castle to the left-hand side, had to bring it back over to the right. Now it looks like we got his back bumper to bumper to bumper, and looking very pretty good fight. Now Max and Jim have had the opportunity, they've saved up a little bit more ERS, and they can now save a little bit more. That's the case with street circuits, you use it all down the straights, but you're under the brakes so often that you can save quite a bit. The only exception really is Monaco, because you can never really get up to when you brake, you don't actually gain that much. But Harv very deep into turn 16, not going to give him the best run, but we've seen Harv, there's a VSC just as they catch up, so that is going to be 7 goes for Harv. Going to allow him to save a bit of ERS, and as well for Jim and Max, they're going to save a little bit of ERS, so pretty much just pausing the race, giving them a reset, so this could be good for them. Wonder what caused it though. Was it Mr. GFX lad? It looks as though he may have crashed on the straight, and that's what's brought out the VSC. So no full course just yet, only VSCs and little pauses on the race. So yeah, yet to have the full thing. As you say, it really is. I mean, could just be postponing the inevitable, using the ERS to get away, but Max really hooking up turn 15 there. You can see close up a lot, and he will have DRS as there's no interruptions this time around, so Max going to try and expend all his DRS, take any chance he can. Of course, still has that 3-second penalty to contend with, but this is the closest Max has been all race. He's going to have the slipstream, he's got the ERS, he's closing, he's got a long run down towards turn 3. There's a full course yellow that may just prevent him from doing it to the inside. He is going to take the lead of the race, and Harv going to have to fiddle in and settle for P2 at the moment, but yeah, he's going to have to give the position back. It is a full course yellow, interesting enough. Has there been the glitch, the same glitch maybe we've seen Max under pressure from Jim as well? Looks like they're pretty confused as to what's going on. What has caused this full course yellow? Hopefully it does. I mean, last time we had it, I believe it was Bahrain or somewhere like that, where we had a similar glitch to this, and actually prevented the Friday League from getting underway at some point. Or I believe it was the Wednesday League maybe, where this glitch actually caused the race to be red flag. But it looks as though eventually it does fix itself, so it is just crucial for these guys to stay behind. Of course, no safety car or full course yellow, so they are still going as quickly as they can and will have DRS, but just can't do anything with that, so it's just crucial for Max, and we are back under green flags hopefully, so it's perfect time for Max. He's going to be using all of his ERS. He's going to have another try, a lap later, deja vu. Jim behind as well, looking to expend some ERS, not much in him though, and Harv really controlling the ERS. He's going to have the DRS, he's not got a lot of ERS, so the energy output's going to be a little bit slower, really relying on the brute force. Harv to the inside, Max going to pull to the right hand side, going to be committed around the outside. Is Harv going to send it under brakes? Is Max going to send it under brakes? Going to swoop around the outside to take the lead of the race, but he goes a little bit too deep. That's going to invite Harv to go back up the inside and towards turn 2. Jim just trying to find his way through, find a bit of a gap. Max around the outside, keeping it pinned. Bit of a sideways moment from the race leader though, and this is going to allow Jim to have a little look. There's contact, they put himself to the wall. What has happened there? He squeezed him to the wall. This is going to allow Max to try and pull away. Have they both been given damage? Absolute calamity. Still going to be run side by side. Jim around the outside, just going to keep it in. Has that maybe allowed Max and opened the door despite his penalty to maybe go on to win the race? Still a bit of contact between Harv and Jim, still trying to get their way through. What has happened here then? Was it just Harv on the inside, Jim trying to squeeze him, and then they just come together, but Max now pulling away, and with that 3 seconds and with their damage could easily go on to try and win this race so long as he keeps it clean himself. Exactly that. Controlled so well, had such an ideal start, just unfortunately he just got swamped behind and now, yeah, losing out quite a lot. Going to have to pit. He hasn't got the gap behind either, so he's going to have to work his way through. It could be interesting to see how well he uses his pace, and maybe could see him back onto the podium potentially. But yeah, it looks as though Jim hasn't really got any damage. You can see both end plates firmly stuck onto that Renault, so just needs to find his way through and stay within the 3 seconds of Max in front. But well, that really gave Max a glimmer of hope, maybe if he could pull the 3 seconds and just stay there, but Jim's slowly going to be chipping away at that again, and he's on the pursuit. Jim really likes being just likes hunting people down today, doesn't he? Yeah, well, where is he now? He's coming up P8, yeah. 6.1 seconds to the nearest car with some fresh medium tyres, and well, it is Harvey's, should be pretty quick, so let's see where he can get up to. He's 6 seconds to CDM, then 4 seconds, then a little bit more of a kind of gap, but he does not want to be making any more mistakes, just like that one there. The 2 Ferraris pretty close, side of space and Blue pretty close and on track, and looks like Blue with his, I believe, 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane time penalty, isn't going to be as quick, or well, isn't going to be in as good of a position, but could still pick up some decent points, but does not want to be stuck behind his teammate who's on some older hard tyres. There's a bit of an incident going on, bit of contact between the 2 Ferraris, and Pistol being sent round at turn 1, maybe just got a bit too ambitious on the loud pedal, and now falling down to P14. So yeah, Pistol hasn't really been able to defend very well because he hasn't actually had many people behind him. Unfortunately, not usually something always is given with Pistol. He always puts on some sort of a show, and but it just shows how tough Baku is when it comes to drivers, and how important consistency is. Of course, we always reiterate that in racing, consistency is key. You have to put in a good lap after lap after lap, and it just looks as though some people are better than others, and just every mistake gets completely exaggerated here, especially at street circuits, Singapore, Baku, Monaco. Any mistake is just magnified by probably about 10 times. As the Ferrari again come together, a bit of contact as he sends him in deep. No damage, luckily, to the front end of Lou as they fight over P9. There's just a bit of a battle going on. Paul Harrison trying to get past the AlphaTauri of Bob Boy. They're going to run side by side through turn 14. Bit of a sideways moment from the Williams. He's going to keep it there, but the AlphaTauri going to be behind. He's got more ERS though, so maybe have a bit of a counter attack towards turn 1, so much so as those yellow flags clear up. I believe there's an Alfa Romeo of broke really, looks as though he's retired. Bold Boy just needs to keep it consistent and maybe try and close up a little bit through this final sector. He's using his overtake, but Harrison, incredible run through turn 16, already opened that gap up to 8 tenths between the two, it seems though he could be pretty secure as long as he doesn't lift off the throttle. He is closing in Bob Boy. Probably going to be the way to go. Probably going to come out around still in the points, but half closed this 6 second gap to CDM in what, like 2 laps? It's an average of 3 seconds a lap. That's some incredible pace, and as you say, going almost 6 tenths quicker than anyone else on track. So really driving with anger and with a point to prove, saying what could have been. Look at my pace, and definitely really showing what could have been. He did, I would say, definitely favour to race, and he's going to run side by side with the Renault towards Castle. Who's going to back out of this one? Surely one of them. There's contact. Oh, that was never ever going to work. And is that him with some damage once again? Yes, it does. So yeah, just go from bad to worse for Harv at the moment. Full course yellow, but yeah, none of them wanted to back out of that one. But probably CDM, you could argue, probably should have. I mean, this Castle, you're not really going to get anything done out of it. But yeah, it looks like Harv and Renault just doesn't go very well together, does it? Yeah, exactly that. I mean, Harv now onto the soft, so going to be even quicker with a new wing, but yeah, it's just unfortunate for Harv. It was just wrong place, wrong time, it seems. Got the move into a really awkward place, but just Castle, you're never ever going to run side by side. Doesn't matter who it is, it's never going to work unless you go around at a snail's pace. Hardly wide enough to uncover, blown to. Just an unfortunate. Yeah, as is the case with Baku, it's really selective as to where you can overtake the Ferrari. Is still going at it, side of space, still with Lou. Looks like that more of a recent move made, and Ballboy coming out quite far ahead of these two, but Harv still in front. Could still pick himself up, maybe pick off the two Ferraris in front. He's still got what is now about 6.5 laps left to go, and with the Ferraris battling, definitely going to find his way up and catch them pretty quickly. So P7, maybe P6, I wouldn't put it money on, but P7. It's just going to be that point, I would say. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you say, it's really a battle. 0.6 technically is the gap between the two if they were with, well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just, Jim needs to get his head down and start pushing. Maybe use a bit too much tyre in that first stint, trying to chase after, or the second stint, trying to chase after Harv. Maybe something's happened, but yeah, but knocked his confidence, of course, with Harv may still be playing in his mind. Anything can happen, but Max really pounced on it. Opened up the gap by about 1.5 seconds, or what it originally was. It was around about 2 seconds. But Jim really falling off. Maybe he needs to try to push what he can, but yeah, Max doing exactly what he needs to. Maybe even, he hasn't necessarily been the quickest, but you would want to win the race despite being the quickest car, and he's done exactly that. Jim and Harv have both had the pace, but Max has just kept his nose clean. Just don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he had DRS in about 4 corners time, just sent it up the inside half with a 140.3. Yeah, really with those soft tyres and light fuel now, really stretching his wings and starting to fly when it comes to pace. But yeah, CDM, just dodgy move, just sent it to under bet on the brakes, but very good sportsmanship to concede the position straight away, realised he went wrong, and that's, I guess, all you could ask from him, but yeah, just more of a clumsy mistake from the Renault, it seems, and that is unfortunate for Lou, who was actually on for some pretty decent points, and now going to fall out of the top 10 range, and Max still extending his lead at the front, so it's now opened it by a couple more attempts, and it's been doom and gloom over the skies for pretty much all the race. We've had a bit of outbreaks of sunshine, but it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a threat. Could maybe, if it does rain, really spice things up for the later laps, but doesn't look like it will. CDM and the other Ferrari running side by side. CDM didn't, luckily, I don't think, pick up any damage, and they're going to run side by side down towards turn 7, and CDM going to claim the corner long before Castle, going to learn from his mistake. But yeah, just clumsy mistakes, it seems, here in Baku. Cool crossing some a position, but he's opened the gap, and did he pick up some damage? I didn't see any carbon fibre fly off, but yeah, very easy to get distracted, just didn't seem to turn there. But yeah, we've definitely been robbed of a good race today, I'd say, because Harv and Jim and Max were looking so close. Just unfortunate they come together a little bit, coming literally on this straight now as we see CDM drive down. Just unfortunate, but Max now open it up to 5 seconds, so really crunched down now, and is looking good to take the win, starting from P3, so the championship leader looking to extend the lead, and Jim just trying to stay as close as he can. But still, another great result if it is Jim. Is going to be 2-2 when it comes to podiums. Just goes to prove why he's leading the championship. I mean, he isn't always quickest when it comes to raw pace, but the consistency wise and just plays it well. I mean, we did have some doubts about him expending his ERS or not playing the long game too well, but he's put himself in the best of positions. You have to make your own luck in Formula 1. You have to put yourself there, and he was there when Jim and Harv came together and really capitalised off that. A lot of people would have made a mistake or allowed Jim to get inside the 3 seconds. He hasn't. He's kept it cool, he's kept it calm, and even with 3 seconds he's managed to open up the gap and done exactly what he needs to, similar to I guess Daniel Ricciardo in Sochi. He was told he had 5 seconds and just said, alright, I'll drive faster, and Max has done exactly that. But Jim just hasn't been able to stay with Max, and 5 seconds still a good result, but Max just proving why he deserves to lead the championship. No other real intervals on track, so sort of just left a little bit more of a boring race, but we are now coming towards the penultimate lap, so not long left of what has been a pretty chaotic race throughout. I mean, we've had, you know, some great battles. We've had the tension of Jim and Max chasing after Harv. We had, of course, obviously the climax of when they finally started battling and come together, but after that it just sort of slowly dwindled down, and the only real battle we've had is at the front. Still been a pretty good race. 2 more laps to go there, and Max just needs to keep it clean and get it towards the end. Stroll. Yeah, he's just going to have to really push. I mean, might creep into it. He's got the fresher tyres. Those mediums should in theory be quicker than those hards at this time. Side of space as well, looking to get past CDM. Once again, the Ferrari and Renault coming together. CDM really trying to move him right all the way to the left hand side and really push the Ferrari, but he has managed to get his way through. With CDM going to launch a counter attack on the softs. Should in theory be a lot quicker, and Side of space should not be in this race with him at all in those 19 lap hard tyres, but yeah, he's driving pretty well to keep it in P8, and Chris slowly creeping towards Kieran, just wants to pick himself up a point, and it is going to be crucial. Every point counts really, so he's going to want to try and close the gap within to the 1 second range, just about, as Max is now starting his final lap of the race, and now with a gap at 6 seconds, Jim just hasn't been on it. Incredible stuff, and he has done an incredible job, as we always keep saying, as Chris Busch has fallen off a little bit to the back of Kieran, and now Side of Space has actually pulled away a 2.3 second gap to CDM behind, who's now picked up a lot of damage lifting through here, and yeah, he's going to have to brake a lot earlier, not going to turn at all, so close to the wall. So yeah, just gone from bad to worse for CDM, unfortunately. Max only with a couple more seconds to go. About, what is that now? He's now coming towards turn 8, so about 8 more, 12 more corners left to go this race. Just going to skip it clean. Does not want to make any mistakes now. He's got 3 seconds in hand, 3.5 seconds in hand, and he could still win the race. So he's going to want to keep it clean and have a nice run to the line and celebrate yet another victory for the championship leader, who has driven completely and utterly well. Did the right moves, got the start he needed to, kept his nose clean, did not get involved in any incidents, unlike the people around him. He's going to be extending this championship lead so long as he doesn't crash in a straight line, which would be pretty remarkable, but looks pretty unlikely, and he's kept it clean. He's now got a straight run down towards the line, and this is going to be Max taking the win in Baku. Really tame the streets of Baku. Well, it's never an easy circuit to keep it clean, but he's made no mistakes. He comes across the line, he takes the win of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after what was a hectic fight at the front, even with 3 second penalty. Jim will come across the line, finishing 7 seconds behind, but on the timing sheet's 4 seconds, and short markers. Very quiet race to finish on the third step of the podium. Very quiet race from short markers. Started P4, made the most of Harvick's mistake, and he finds himself on the podium, so he's going to be crossing the line a few moments later, and that is going to be Shaun Marcus on the podium, his first podium I believe of the season. Then Paul Harrison, a great result in P4 as well, so a really shaken up grid here. Shaun Marcus on the podium, great drive. Exactly that, not at all going to be complaining, and definitely going to celebrate, be happy with the top 3 finish, and a Baku, no better place to do it really, other than probably Monaco or Monza or somewhere like that. Baku is a very rewarding track to finish well on, and a P3 finish, kept his nose clean, made no mistakes, wasn't exactly there on pace, but kept it clean, started space across the line P8, and then CDM just nursing home some damage, and Chris actually did manage to get himself into the points, but Sean Rees has fallen down a little bit. Didn't quite catch what happened there, but just going to be taking home the final points man position in P10. Lou could have been there, but across the line P11. I think Kieran Rees is going to be tumbling down the championship order, it seems. He's going to be scoring no points today, but yeah, that concludes a pretty nice Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Yeah, it definitely will be looking to bounce back from next week, and just unfortunate, but his pace definitely was there, so still positives to take, still finishes P7 as well, but Max takes the win ahead of Jim, and Shaun Marcus rounding off the top 3. Paul Harrison in a good P4, and Fosky saying station in P5, Bold Boy in P6, Harv great race to finish P7, good recovery, kept his cool despite the incident and takes the fastest lap as well. Starter Space P8, CDM P9 and Chris rounding off the top 10. It's Lou in P11, Kieran Rees P12, won't be taking him any points as he was in a pretty good place in the championship, just couldn't take it, and his McLaren teammate right behind him P13, DNF for Callum Jones, Pistol, Broke Gorilla, Mr. GFX, Golden Wolf, SYG Ghost and High Assassin. So yeah, a lot of incidents and a lot of casualties taken from Baku, but those who kept it clean were definitely rewarded. Exactly that, 2 and 2 for Jim it seems. He's definitely had a good start, P2 to P2, definitely had a shot at the win, but just couldn't quite stay on the level of Max, and a great drive from him and a great drive from Harv, who, yeah, just kept his composure after the incidents, but yeah, definitely a good race all round. I mean, we had the tension at the front, we had some good fights in the midfield, and it definitely was a pretty good Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Could argue it was a little bit robbed of what maybe could have been an epic climax, maybe a fight towards the end, but still can't complain with what we got, and very, very crucial for the championship as Max extends his lead and will be taking home a further 25 points in the championship as Jim and Harv look to close it up. But that is going to conclude today's action. Everyone, thank you again so much for watching, the continued support of OBF1. Absolutely incredible. If you do want to get yourself involved, don't hesitate to give a message. A great league, and so as you've seen there, some very clean driving and even apologies in the chat between Harv and Jim going on now, so no toxicity at all. But yeah, that's going to conclude what has been a pretty good day of racing from myself and Mitch, who are talking you through the action today. So thank you guys so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.